Well, hello and welcome to Alpha Group. It was a really great pleasure to meet you all the other day at the Professional Development Day at the Convention Centre, and I think you've already, as a group, have come up with some really good ideas about the project that you really want to sink your teeth into. And that project is going to be a way to develop the IT skills that you're learning, to apply them in a very contextual way, and help your students improve their literacy. You've all been put in this group because you have very, very similar backgrounds in terms of what subjects you teach. You have a very similar IT background, and indeed, what's really important is you have very similar goals about what you want to achieve for your students in terms of delivering authentic ILT solutions to help raise attainment, engagement, and motivation. Um, And as we said the other day, this is all superimposed on top of the fundamental adaptive learning program that you'll be undertaking. So, the adaptive learning program is the process by which you will move through learning modules that are tailored for you to help you develop your IT skills, and they are tailored to the project you're working on to really try to make a beautiful marriage between those two things. All right, so what adaptive learning is. Let's talk about what it isn't. You are not going to be sitting around at tables with butcher's paper and texters, and not that there's anything wrong with that. You're not going to put sticky notes on a board, not that there's anything wrong with that. You're not going to sit around with people you know and just really talk about what you do on the weekend. You are put with strangers, but you have so much in common. So, what is adaptive learning? So, an adaptive learning environment is one that monitors and collects data based on the progress of its users. That data is interpreted, and from that, a computer system infers what the learner requirements are to facilitate learning in a dynamic way. And of course, as we talked about at the conference the other day, artificial intelligence is used a lot. Artificial intelligence is used to guide the learning experience, adjust the instructional strategies based on the interaction with the learners, based on your feedback throughout the process. And traditional learning, as you can see over here, it is what we experienced at school, and in many ways what we dish up to our students. You find the content organiser, everybody gets the same content, everyone moves at the same pace. You've seen all that before. Adaptive learning is a bit different. It's the holy grail of education, and that is to try to personalise the learning experience. On this side, what we've got here is the computer dude, Mr. Artificial Intelligence, or Madam Artificial Intelligence, who links the concepts to content based on the contents the students want and their success. A very big difference between those two sides of the page. It might not look like that. It's going to look more like this, a computer system. Okay. And another way to look at it is maybe just comparing the traditional linear versus adaptive education processes. The start learning path, the linear path, you start there and you move from one to the other, to the other, to the other, to the other until you finish, just like getting a degree without any broadening units like in my day. Or the adaptive learning one, you start the learning path, you have a test, and look, you might skip something that you already know, and you go to something else. What this one's probably missing is a test. This graphic's missing a test between everything. Have a little test here, a little assessment, or a feedback form of some description to re-inform the AI of where you're going to move next in your learning journey. And you might be wondering what is it going to look like in terms of the project we're embarking on. So, as I said, this is all superimposed on the project, the open-ended project you're working on with your colleagues. But let's say, for example, we're utilising the Microsoft teacher platform, which I've got here. There's hundreds of little units you can do with Microsoft. Now, you could go in there yourself and you could have a look at the different modules on offer and choose your own learning pathway, but we are going to choose it for you, not we, the computer. So traditionally, you would just move through these learning modules and you'd be maybe doing some that you know all about. Very similar to if you've ever done those online first aid courses or the professional development courses that schools make you do these days. Um, and it's you can't skip. You have to watch those videos. You can do something else because the questions are normally pretty easy, but you have to watch them. This is very different because based on that TPAC data from the online interview and the sort of online questions and the interview, you're placed at a particular point based on your interests and your prior knowledge. And based on how you're doing that unit, you progress to another. And it might not be in the same order as anyone else in this group. You guys will be in pretty similar sequence of events when it comes to this because of your backgrounds, but it might not necessarily be identical for all of you. So look, where to from here? Here's our little group. Hopefully you've managed to engage in Flipgrid because you're watching me right now. And what I want you to do is update your details, your personal details. Maybe put your own photo up or a funky avatar or something like that. And of course, what I want you to do is record your first video. And that video, it doesn't have to be perfect. That's why I've done this in one run. This is my only recording of this video, and yours doesn't have to be perfect by any means either. Hopefully, as imperfect as mine. So, I want to hear what you think about the what I've brought up today. What you think about the whole project in the literature you've learned. There's some documents sitting in the Microsoft Teams page as well. Knock yourself out. Have a great time working on this. Can I try to get you to have that video finished within about 48 hours, please? Then I will contact you again about what else I've put up. We'll use Teams as our synchronous learning platform, and we'll use this for asynchronous. Have a great week, and I look forward to the next face-to-face session as well, which I think is coming up in about 8 weeks. So thanks very much, and have a great day. Bye.